Hey everyone, and welcome to the Thyworm Weekly Roundup, where I don't talk about Blizzard or Fallout 76, but I do discuss all my favorite gaming news and give an update on the games I played in a single video. Pagan Online implemented campaign co-op with the release of patch 1.1. I haven't tried it out just yet because of video games, but as the post says, campaign co-op was a highly requested feature. The post mentions that campaign was never designed for co-op play, which makes me question why they would call the game Pagan Online. A few reviews pointed this out as well. And I think it's the first time I'm hearing this, because in my mind it was, but it just didn't work for a long time. Whatever the case may be, it is here now. They spent a lot of time on it, and going by the patch notes, it's a bit of an MVP. Just the first iteration of campaign co-op. Reason I'm saying this are the known issues described. Sometimes the instance owner or the host dies and cannot be revived, halting campaign progression. If the host disconnects, you run into the same issue. You can't finish the campaign missions and you have to restart. That is certainly not ideal, especially the dying part, but time will tell, and bug reports and Discord, how big of a drawback this is. Future hotfixes are already planned, so if you really can't take death and losing progression, you might want to hold off for just a bit until this is fixed. I will be trying out a bit of campaign co-op, however, see how it runs and maybe make a separate video on it. Apart from the co-op campaign multiplayer, Pagan Online introduces their first Halloween event. The Pantheon will have pumpkins, I'm assuming, but more interestingly, you can get a new pet, the Arachnid Assistant, if you log in between October 28th and November 1st. The pet gives plus 3% increased crit chance, which is actually a very significant buff. And most of all, the pet just really looks awesome. I'm glad Pagan Online managed to reach this milestone. I just hope it's not too late, 2 months after launch. And I'm really curious when they will start releasing more endgame content. Pagan isn't the only Halloween event going on. I'm probably better off listing games that don't have one, because there are a bunch of games that have upcoming Halloween festivals or something very similar. And I'm pretty sure Steam will organize a sale as well, which is scary in itself for my wallet. A few games I'd like to point out are Thea 2, featuring the All Souls Night, which triggers a separate event in-game. Neoverse, a kinky Slay the Spire clone, has added some new outfits and new enemies. Destiny 2 returns with the Festival of the Lost, and there are probably 200 other games that have similar events. I always enjoy a little sidetracking in games, and seasonal events can offer a nice change of pace or a bit of additional variation to a game you're playing anyway. It's a good opportunity to do another run in Thea 2, for example. Staying on topic, I'm doing a Halloween stream at Halloween in the evening. I've been granted a key to Moons of Madness, a game I know hardly anything about, but apparently it's scary as fuck. And I truly hate scary games. I would never play those by myself, but this could be interesting. A stream will air here on YouTube, and you should already be able to see the event. Last Epoch posted a blog post on Mastery Ascendancy. In the current version of the game, picking a mastery, which is basically a specialization of your class, is done by just investing 1 passive point. It always happens at the same moment in time as well, which is once you have spent 20 passive skill points in your base class. Because of this, getting your mastery feels rather unimpactful, and this is exactly what Mike from 11th Hour is addressing here. In the future, mastery classes will be bound to a quest, which you can receive in the End of Time, which is the game hub basically. This makes mastery directly dependent on the story, because only after completing a bunch of areas and missions the End of Time is available. Once a mastery is chosen, the impact is significant. Mastery provides unique skills depending on which mastery you choose, and also some very class-defining passives. The result of all these changes is that you determine when you take on a mastery by rushing the campaign or not. You get access to a class-defining skill very early in the playthrough. By uncoupling mastery from passives, it feels more like an actual choice with real consequences. Needless to say, the community unanimously loves these changes, and I'm really looking forward to another playthrough once this is implemented. You can expect more live streams and probably another build guide once patch 0.7.4 goes live. That's a great opportunity to test out the new changes, interact with you guys, and help you with any questions you might have regarding the last Epoch, so stay tuned for that. Then a beloved franchise gets an action RPG, no, not Warhammer, but Darksiders Genesis, and it has a release date, December 5th. It will be available on PC, so that's only 1.5 months from now. Consoles will follow follow Valentine's Day next year. I'm semi-excited for this, if that is a state of mind that exists. I played the beta version during Gamescom, and this is basically the standard Darksiders formula, with an emphasis on combat and puzzles, but then in a top-down view. Don't expect this to be about loot or map clearing and high speed or things like that. It's very much an adventure type game with a story and familiar characters, with this time Strife and War as the two playable ones. Darksiders Genesis does a different take on action RPGs compared to games like Pagan Online or last Epoch. I prefer the latter, the loot type games more, but from what I've played, Darksiders was still pretty cool. It looked and felt good to play and the boss fights were interesting. At €30, it is also reasonably priced. Stone Shard, an indie developed turn-based RPG, got pushed to next year. February 6th is the plan for now. I played the demo and I'm pretty sure it's still available, and it should give you a decent idea of what to expect. I really enjoyed it. It already felt like a very solid demo with many features and choices you can make, and I can't wait to test the final product. We will just have to wait a little longer. Last week I mentioned starting Encased, an isometric turn-based RPG, and I finished it, or at least the part that can be finished currently in the early access. You can find the first impressions in the card and the description down below. Overall, I think it's worth a buy already in its current state, and it can only improve from here really. Another big game came out this week, Obsidian's The Outer Worlds, the spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas. I got myself the Xbox Game Pass Premium this month for only €1, and apart from a library with really tons of games, you get also access to games that are otherwise exclusive to the Epic Games Store. And no one likes the Epic Games Store, so you might as well pay Microsoft the subscription money and get access that way. It's what I've done so far, but I can see myself purchasing the game later down the line when mods are implemented. My personal hope is that this game gets mod support, the devs already said as much, and that we enter a new era of modding an already amazing game. I can't wait to do mod reviews again, but I can't be bothered to reinstall Skyrim or Fallout 4 and pimp that game. But this one? You bet I will, and you can be sure it's going to be a big inspiration to do a lot of content on. It's how this channel started, covering Skyrim mods, and I've always really enjoyed mods as a topic. Because of the creativity of the mod community, the way it can significantly change your gaming experience and basically make games immortal. I have about 22 hours into the Outer Worlds currently, and I had to stop myself from playing to make this video. It's really amazing. It's everything Fallout should have been. Back to the Game Pass, however, it allowed me to play a bunch of other games as well that I just wanted to play once, go through it and then probably never touch it again. One of those games was Abzu, where you are this diver that has to restore balance to the seas, or that's what I made of this. It's basically a walking simulator but then underwater. It's gorgeous, however. The music is amazing and so well orchestrated. It's really a very unique experience and a super soothing game. Just swimming with these sea creatures is really relaxing. You can meditate as well to get a closer look at what is around you. Despite it being a rather linear experience with a runtime of only a few hours, it's these kind of games that really stand out, that have you enjoy games from a different perspective, that are more thought-provoking and rely mostly on providing a wonderful experience rather than telling a story or requiring any skill to complete the game. Every now and then I really enjoy titles like these. Another title available with the Game Pass is Metro Exodus, and while I have always found Metro games very depressing to play, literally, this one looks absolutely gorgeous and has some very solid storytelling and a few nice scare moments here and there as well. And I'm pretty sure it's the first game I've seen on my new PC that offers ray tracing on my RTX 2080. I mean, it does look good, really good. The lighting system is superb and brings so much atmosphere to a game that heavily relies on that to convey the message. I found the Metro series to be basically deprived of anything that could be seen as fun. It's all super gloomy, dark, quite horrifying at times, and those just aren't the types of games of titles that I would like to play. But even through those reservations, I found the willpower to sit down, push myself to play these games, and I've always really enjoyed them. But for different reasons than I enjoy other games. Exodus is no different. I really appreciate the small change in direction this game took by exploring much more outside locations far beyond the reach of the Metro tunnels. It is still very much a Metro game with Artyom as your main guy, but the claustrophobic feeling of the tight spaces in 2033 and The Last Light is replaced by a sense of exploration, and it works really well. I'm currently in the 3rd location out of 4, still going strong, and pretty soon I can cross this game off the list. For me, Exodus is also an ideal Game Pass game because I would never reinstall this game after playing through it once. Noita, my new favorite indie game, has implemented an experimental version of mod support in their latest patch. This really is a game where modders can go completely mental, coming up with enemies, spells, wands, all sorts of objects. This game could really live forever and be constantly infused with fresh updates and mods. This is such a good example of a developer that has the prioritization down to a T. He knows what the community wants and delivers updates at a pretty steady pace. Once again guys, I can wholeheartedly recommend this game. It's a ton of fun and it's only getting better. Path of Exile celebrated its 6th anniversary. 6 years already. It's been a long time. I started playing quite early in its development, and although I'm not a hardcore PoE fan, I still spent a good amount of time, around 500 hours I think, on this game and its various leagues. I do follow the regular updates. ExileCon is upon us and I'm always excited to see the new leagues, even though I'm not participating in them 100% of the time. I did Betrayal, which I enjoyed, and Synthesis. I didn't play Legion, but the next one I might hop in again, find a nice build and go with it. On that topic, BOE Builds, I have been watching BalorMage a lot. He streams on Twitch, which is fun, but also has a very informative YouTube channel where after a few days of streaming, he creates a video explaining the build and showing some footage. If you're into new, funky, sometimes expensive builds for PoE, I think he's worth checking out. Link in the description down below. Chernobyl Light, a survival horror action RPG, entered early access on October 16th, and it already released a major update and a roadmap. Yes, another roadmap. It's not a game I played yet, but it does look promising. Steam reviews are pretty decent, the graphics look good, and the premise of the narrative seems captivating, although it is not original by any means, after a stalker, for example. The community is also addressed as stalkers, so there's no confusion as to where this game draws inspiration from. I just have way too many games going on right now, especially with the Game Pass subscription currently, but this is one that is on the wish list and I'll pick it up at some point. Ending on the most positive note, see what I did there? Positive. Cat Quest 2, the furry adventure game from the Gentle Bros, is now available on consoles. Cat Quest is kind of a kids game, but it's like Shrek, which is basically a kids movie but also contains plenty of entertainment for adults. I have found the original and now the sequel to be excellent games, full of stupid cat and dog jokes. At its core, it's a very solid adventure game with beautiful graphics and cheerful music, very reasonably priced and a guarantee for a good couple of hours of fun. I have a PC review available in the card. I wasn't sure there were enough topics to cover, but there definitely are within a week. So far the roundup is still weekly. Thanks for making it to the end. Until next time, I love you all. Bye bye.